In 10 short years, this tiny display in our wrist has redefined the way we connect, we move, we track, and we breathe. But to understand the evolution of the Apple Watch, we have to go back even further than that, over a century ago to 1904 to be exact. Brazilian aviation pioneer Albert Santos Dumont was looking for a way to keep track of time while he was flying, and using a pocket watch in those days, pulling it out and taking your hands off the control isn't the best way to fly. So he asked his friend Louis Cartier, can you design me a watch that I can still keep my hands on the control and still keep time? And that's exactly what he did. He created the first square, flat-shaped wristwatch that could be worn on the arm, and hence redefined how we look at wristwatches going forward. And the watch is still available today, obviously in different sizes and shapes and different metals, but you know how it works. Now fast forward to 1969, Seiko. They released the first quartz watch, the Seiko Astron, which caused the quartz revolution, which almost wiped out the Swiss watch industry. Now fast forward to 10 years ago, Apple releases their first wearable, the Apple Watch. Now, a lot of people thought this was gonna just wipe out the watch industry because look what you could do with this watch. Notifications, emails, you could go browse the web, you could talk to Siri, you get your health and fitness notifications all in one device. Yes, they're not the first. But what Apple did brilliantly, what they'd done with the iPhone and the iPod previously, was bring that ecosystem that Apple's designed and mastered into a watch. Beautifully made, beautiful materials, stainless steel and ceramics over the years and titanium and gorgeous colors. Then of course, a couple years back, they brought out the Ultra, their most durable, high-performance watch yet. And that's where we're at today. The Apple Watch has redefined wearables. It's the watch personally for me that I wear most of the time. You know, when I'm traveling overseas and you don't want to wear an expensive luxury watch, the Apple Watch goes with me. Preferably the Ultra because of the battery life. But even the Series 10 that I have here on my wrist is absolutely beautiful, larger in size, fits well on my 7-inch wrist, and it still exudes luxury, performance, and durability. But for me, one of the benefits personally that I like about Apple Watch are the health notifications. And a few years ago when my mom was still alive, I brought her to the Apple store in Las Vegas to get her an Apple Watch. And I'll never forget this story because she really was stubborn about not getting this, but I convinced her that these notifications, if something happens to her, that I can look after her. I can make a call if I need to. So she kind of kicked and screamed to go down to the store, and the Apple representative was very patient and very kind and walked her through how I was setting it up. But it wasn't at the level that it is today, to be frank with you. But we got an Apple Watch and she wore it for a while, and yeah, she enjoyed it. She's like, wow, this does a lot. She was very, very impressed by it. Now, unfortunately, she's no longer with me. I remember that. It was a fun day, a frustrating day, but a fun day. But to me, how I look at the Apple Watch as a whole is that it's designed to help people. They've given it a lot of tools and metrics and ways to help us in our daily lives. If we need health notifications, if we need to keep in contact with our friends and loved ones or business, or motivate us to work out more, this watch does all that. And yes, others do as well, but not with the simplicity of the Apple Watch. And that's one of the key things that make it so special. With that said, I have the great honor and pleasure to speak to Deidre Caldbeck, who is the Senior Director of Product Marketing, Apple Watch and Health, to talk about the past 10 years of Apple Watch and some of her favorite Apple Watches, because different materials over the years, and maybe get an insight to the Apple Watch Ultra and why it's so durable. Enjoy. Hi, Deidre, how are you?
Hi, good. How are you, Bobby? It's good to see you.
Congratulations, 10 years with the Apple Watch. And I know, right? It's crazy how time flies with this, right?
I know. We look exactly the same as we did 10 years ago, though, so it's fine.
Thanks to Apple Studio and all the great filters we have, we're looking great.
Right. Yeah.
So over the 10 years, I mean, in numerous upgrades to watchOS, I mean, what has been the biggest surprise for Apple in terms of what users liked and wanted?
For me, I think it was the wide range of features and capabilities that have made a difference in people's lives. So, for example, someone will tell us that they bought the Apple Watch because they wanted to get their messages and view their notifications and sort of stay connected without needing to take their phone out of their pocket and just be able to do quick replies. But then because they're wearing this device throughout the day, they maybe got a high heart rate alert, and it led them to discover that they had some sort of health condition that they wouldn't have otherwise noticed. So I think that's been the interesting and delightful thing for us, is that there are a lot of users who say they bought it for one reason, and then the thing that impacted their lives the most was actually a completely different feature or capability on the watch. And so we are learning that there's just so many things that mean different things to different people. And so we're going to continue to offer more and more of these capabilities so that we can impact more people's lives.
Awesome. Now, speaking of which, let's talk about COVID for a second, because that was a big impact for technology worldwide. And how did that change wearables and what, your users expected out of the Apple Watch?
Well, there was obviously quite a focus on health during that time. And so I think a lot of users felt like they needed those deeper insights into their health. They needed to know what was happening with their health. And I think it gave users the opportunity to pay more attention to how they were feeling and to look at more of those health metrics that you could get from a device that you wear on your wrist throughout the day and throughout the night. So that really was great for a lot of users to just have that information that they wouldn't have had before. The other thing I think is, we were often in our homes, sitting more than we used to. And even a feature like the activity rings, which was available with the very first Apple Watch, I think the interest and engagement with that very simple but impactful feature really increased during COVID, because people wanted to make sure they were staying active and moving and getting out of the house and getting some sunlight and maybe taking a walk and making sure that they weren't so sedentary and of course not wanting that the situation they were in, where they might be in the house a lot, not to have that impact their health over time. And so having something like the activity rings to keep them motivated and staying active, I think was really profound for people during that time. And luckily that's really carried on. So having that interest and engagement with their health and fitness, now that we're all out and about again, which is great, they're still connected and engaged with their health and fitness, which has been lovely to hear.
Indeed. It's actually a lot of fun. And I challenge a friend of mine as well, because we have our alerts to let us know when someone's worked out and not worked out. So it makes you feel guilty when you're not at the gym or running. You're like, I got to get back into it.
Yes. Activity sharing is a motivating and maybe guilt-inducing feature that people have a love-hate relationship with. Yeah,
I agree. Now, I want to talk about a little bit about materials used, because I kind of look at you guys like the Rolex of smartwatches, right? You do upgrades, but they're subtle upgrades, but they're very impactful. And let's talk about the materials over the past 10 years. You've used titanium, ceramic, stainless steel, aluminum. Which has been your personal favorite? And if you could bring back one?
That is an interesting question. Well, you're right. We have been so fortunate to be able to offer so many different choices across colors and materials and styles, and just giving users that ability to customize the way that the watch looks on their wrist. It's such a personal device. Right now I'm wearing the gold titanium, which I do very much enjoy. It's this warm gold that we have now is just absolutely stunning. And I think just is, and it's so light on your wrist, for a material like titanium. So it's really great. I think before we introduced Series 10, what I would have said was we should bring back space black stainless steel, because that was one of my favorites. But we now have jet black aluminum, which is this lovely finish that looks just absolutely elegant on your wrist in the aluminum material. So it's lighter, it's of course more affordable. It's just an absolutely stunning finish. So now that we have jet black, I'm pretty happy with the suite of choices that we have for users. And I think it does give people a lot of option and makes them feel like they can make it their own.
Indeed. And I have to say, I love the gold that you guys are using on this latest one that you're wearing. It is so stunning. I mean, for men and for women, it is just so gorgeous. The moment I saw it at the Apple Store, it was just such a classy watch. It really just elevates the Apple Watch, I personally feel.
Yeah, our design teams really put so much purpose and intention and thought and care into how they make these decisions and how they introduce these different choices for users. And I think it really comes through when you are able to put something as elegant as this on your wrist.
I have to ask you one quick question, because I know we got a couple more minutes left. the Apple Watch Ultra. What magic sauce do you put in this thing? It is so durable. It's unbelievable. I mean, it looks so good, number one. Everybody wants the Ultra, right? They just want to, it's like a statement piece, but it's so durable. What is going on with the materials you guys are using with this thing?
Well, that's exactly what we set out to do with Apple Watch Ultra, was to create the most rugged and capable device for the ultimate sports and adventurers and sports enthusiasts and adventurers that are out there. And that's exactly what we have, right? Is we have this strong, durable titanium, the way that the housing goes around the display so that you can go mountain biking and trail running and mountain climbing and do these interesting adventures that still keep a device on your wrist just as capable as it was when you took it out of the box. And that was really what we set out to do. And again, huge credit to our designers in choosing these materials and in the form factor and the industrial design of a device like Ultra to ensure that it could meet the needs of the most rigorous activities that people are doing, all the way from, down to the depths of the ocean with scuba diving, right? It could withstand the pressure of going into the waters and sort of seeing these amazing things way down deep. I mean, they really did a lot of testing to ensure that durability and reliability holds up in the most extreme situations.
I mean, I haven't gone to that extreme, but I've knocked it over like a metal door frame. And I thought the moment I did that, I said, oh no, there goes my watch. And then there's like not a scratch. I'm going, what is Apple doing with this? Anyway, Deidre, thank you so much for your time.
Yeah.
I really appreciate it. Yeah. Congratulations on the 10 years. Looking forward to what's coming up next in the Apple Watch arena. Thank you. Really appreciate this.
Yes. Thank you, Bobby. It's great to see you. Thank you.
Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed that interview with Deidre. And what a great honor to speak to her. And just looking over the past 10 years of Apple Watch and just tying pieces as a whole, where we've come from, where we are today, and what the future holds. And man, what an exciting time to be alive for tech. But anyway, I'm going to go back in the store because I saw some bands that will look very good on this Ultra 2 black color. So with that, like, subscribe. Thank you for the support, and I'll chat to you all very, very soon. Bye.